So yeah, we're going to talk about Percy Jackson today and the difference between normality and abnormality. Okay, so basically we're going to be comparing Harry Potter and Percy Jackson and how both boys are in a way normal, but they're also abnormal, which makes them special and unique. So when we look at the first paragraph of Harry Potter, it states that Mr. and Mrs. Dursley, as well as their child Dudley, are all normal. They're very serious, normal people, but they have this one secret that they don't want to tell anyone about. And that is that Mrs. Dudley has a sister who is a magician, and they have a nephew that they are looking after, and he is sort of magic. It comes at first as Harry Potter as a dude that's really nerdy. He sort of has good grades, sort of has bad grades. And it's really the same for Percy Jackson. He has ADHD, which is a learning disorder, and he has multiple disorders that, I guess, mess with his emotions and makes it harder for him to control his anger and calm down. He's also highly dyslexic, which means he can't read normal signs, such as, I don't know, like posters on the street. Yeah, so they don't really fit in with the community around them, and people don't think it's normal that some kids are troubled and some kids have more learning disorders and learn differently than others, which is not true, by the way. So yeah, later on they find out that they're special. So for example, Percy is a demigod while Harry is a magician, and Harry attends Hogwarts and Percy attends summer camp. And yeah, there's this whole expedition about, what happens, the problems, the solution. I'm not going to tell you about that because that's a spoiler, but yeah. So if we were to just compare Percy and Harry, they're both in totally normal families, and they are both very troubled. So they either have a learning disorder or they're just nerdy in general, but then they're still special and they find new friends and a new lifestyle over time. So normality is just plain boring, just normal. A lot of people aren't grateful for what they have as being a person who can properly function, walk, talk, move, even simple things like nodding your head. All of your nerves are in that process, and some people don't have specific nerves, which doesn't allow them to walk, talk, eat, move. So yeah, so abnormality in a way is special and unique and a hidden gift. However, it is definitely uncomfortable, and people who have grown up and was born healthy, they're not very grateful for it because they're like, oh, everyone has this, everyone has that. And so yeah, that's the real difference between it. They're not grateful. I know it would be more appreciative if people were to be more thankful that they don't have this specific disease, because it's painful, it's uncomfortable, and it makes you special, but it's also not the best thing in the world. And yeah, that's it.
Hello, so today we're talking about normality versus abnormality, and then contrasting between Percy Jackson, the lightning thief, versus Harry Potter, the sorcerer's. So in this world, people can put things into two categories: something that's normal and something that's abnormal. Something that's normal, in my opinion, is something that is ordinary to us in our everyday life and doesn't appear unique/unusual. These can result in looking out the window and seeing a pigeon or going outside to be greeted by the sun. On the other hand, something that's abnormal is something that's really unusual and that we don't see as much. For instance, looking out the window and seeing a Pegasus, or going outside to see the moon and sun right next to each other. Abnormal things are that seem like they don't belong or seem to belong where they are at. It can reach from anything to imaginations, real-life things, or things you have at your house. For example, a coffee mug that's upside down. However, one general aspect of the difference between normality and abnormality is the fact that abnormality has to do with the fact that it's not what humanity has grown to familiarize with. So, next I want to talk about Harry Potter. So the first paragraph in Harry Potter, in the first book in chapter 1, so basically the first ever paragraph, it starts off like, Mr. and Mrs. Dursley of number 4, Privet Drive were proud to say that they were finally normal. Thank you very much. They were the last people you would expect to be involved in anything strange or mysterious, because they just didn't hold with such nonsense. So obviously this page is talking about the contrast between normal and abnormal, and Harry is saying that he was proud that they were normal now, and it's because, back to my point, people find it unusual to see abnormal things, and people sometimes get uncomfortable with it. So I think that's why he was happy that they became normal and then got relieved by it. And he just didn't hold with such nonsense, meaning that they're all over the place. They don't stick to one thing, and they just kind of familiarize with unusual stuff that's not normal. So, yeah.